よいしょ。よっ。先ほどはなんかすみません、配信途中で止めてしまったんですけど、ちょっと頼み事をされていたので、頼み事を聞いていました。急に枠を取れてしまってあれなんですけど、さっきのちょうど取れたところからの続きでやっていきます。
Thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the
お、
ground.
ほんまに浮き始めた。
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this
全部夢だと思うことにしたんか。
the truth was that of course this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
なるほど。
Now hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control. That...
ちょっと待ってね。忘れてた。
This was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been.
この
My life is normal.
一緒に住んでるっていうのは昨日の配信で
Everything will be fine.
出てきましたけどね。
I am okay.
I am okay. あれ
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
さあ、すべてが真っ暗にな
This
り
is
ま
the
した。
story of a woman named Mariella.
マリエラになったな。
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her
スタ
feel
ンリー役
better.
に立ってるやん。
But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
見据えられてるやんという物語だったと。面白いね。いろんな世界線があるんやな。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
今回はこれといってノックとかをせんと行ってみますか。お、何ここ。
Oh, new content? What does that mean?
ニューコンテンツ。こんな部屋知らない。え？何この部屋。どこに行くの
？Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
お
As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013.
そうね、2013年がスタートやからね。
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
そうね。
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
こっからがニューコンテン
This
ツな。
sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
おお、楽しくなってきたね。なんだこれ、エレベーターか。
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
え、動かないの。
Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Or... Oh, there we go.
動いた。
All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been
ニュー
more
コンテン
ready
ツ。
to it.
何が待っているんだろ
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious.
う。いや、
It's
そん
as
な
if
ことはないけどな。
Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
あえて動かないで見る。新しいコンテンツに入るのが怖いのかいみたいな。ならないんか。まあそもそも1作目プレイしてないからね。1作目プラスのこれをやってみてどんな感じかっていう話やから、まだ1作目も楽しめてないんだけどな。でも退屈って言われちゃったからな。お、なんだこれ。ザ・ジャンプ
All right.
サイク
All
ル
right. Let's see. It's the
サー
jump
クル
circle.
ジャンプサークル。お、すごいジャンプできる。すごい某お笑い芸人の P なんとかの一人海外に行って一人小説家になった人のネタを思い出す。何のアナウンスもないんだな。 あ、飛べなくなった。え、どういうことどういうこと？ジャンプできなくなっちゃったんだけど。それだけ？
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
めっちゃシュールな新コンテンツ。出なかった。
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... Oh, wait. There's more. Very good.
なんだ？何が
I
始ま
knew
るん
there
だ？
had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
まさかジャンプ3兆回やらされるとかそんなことないよね。やめてよそんな。お？なんだこれ？なんか書いてあるな。怪しいなこれ。Thank you for enjoying the new contents. 変えるわけにはいかないか。何ですか？
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." Quality assurance department signed off on this. I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content.
新コンテン
It
ツ
could
楽しみ
never
にして
have
た
lived
の
up
に。
to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
お、勝手に。おっと、全然違う感じになったな。スタンリーの部屋から427は変わらんけど。おっと。懐かしく思えてしまうこの最初のところ。お、何？開いたんだけど。
Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
何を見せたいんだろうか。じゃあ行きません。分かってるでしょ、もうそういうのにこう誘導されないっていうの。
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares?
そんなん言われたらね。
Never mind. You're not a dork.
閉めないでよ。これが見せたかったの？コーヒーノット。 なんか危なそうだからこっちの方がなんか安全な気すんねんけどな。わー、なるほどね。いつもの空間なのか、ほんで。いつもと変わらないんだったらそりゃね、あっちの通気口の方が面白そうだけど、何も変わらないんであれば。こっち行ってみるか。はい。
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
何？小さな秘密って気になるな。お前の秘密は掴んでおきたい。やば。それはやばいな。全然違うじゃん、今までと。ブレイブストなんとかみたいな感じの神々しい光出てるけど。
I call it the memory zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC.
すげえ。空いてる。The Memory Zone。The Stanley Parable。もうここしか行けないの。入ってみるか。Don't forget the Stanley Parable. Sweet Zone.
You see, Stanley, doesn't the memory zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
これ1
Back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched. Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
最初の頃のスタンリー・ペレブをやってることがある人からしたら懐かしいってなるのかな。スタンリー・ペレブアワード、スタンリー・ペレブおーすげえ。このエンディング見たもんね。スマイル because it happiness。 うわすごい。こんな感じだったの？違くない？あ、デモンストレーションの頃の博物館に来てるみたい。実績か？おー。In Loving Memory Little Stanley。のどかな。 なんか流れ始めたぞ。聞いとく？メモリゾーンって言ってる。これ今ここから配信見に来た人とかがおったとしたら何事ってなりそう。ビデオこれかな。スタンリー・パラブル。メモリゾーンって出てる。これ無限ループかな、この曲。いろんなアワードを取っているぞ。
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created. Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
キャンプするコンテンツのやつね。そうね。スタンリー・プレボール。あ、懐かしくなってきちゃう。スタンリーがいる。こっちは何があるの？メモリゾーン、メンテナンスルーム。The end is never. スマイルマークある。
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games, and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content.
でもこれもニュー
It
コ
just
ンテン
needed
ツ
to
じゃ
be
ん。
left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
うん、開いた。
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't
できるように
give
なっ
to
て
go
る。
back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here?
メモリーゾーンの下に何か謎の部屋が。お、なんだここは。
Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here.
Steam の評価
Surely
ね。
these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh my god。それは Steam の評価。
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
低評価を隠してたんやな。いいところだけしか見せてくれてなかったけど、 Steam のレビュー倉庫みたいな。おお。
Okay, let's see what this one says.
お、
While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. Maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks are my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
ナレーターに対しての不評なあれがいっぱいあるけど、低評価が。お、
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button?
スキップボタン。
Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the
お、
Stanley
なんだなんだ。
That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
お、スキップボタン出てきた。お、え、いけないのこれ。いけるけど。え、暗闇の中いけるけど。あ、いけないわ。スキップボタンがある部屋に来たけど。
And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get.
でも困らせるのが面白いのに。
Shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago, which is why I say the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back.
もう一回同じ話を始めたら押してみるか。
It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say the story and the choice.
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it, but if I had to describe it, I'd say it was perhaps less of a rumination and more of a treatise. Or maybe a manifesto. Look, I'll outline it for you very briefly and you can tell me what you think. Okay, so my theory is that any choice you've ever made is simply a series of choices made by the person who you are or were or will be at the time of having made said choice. That is to say, if by articulating a choice you've already made, you bring that choice into being, then by making no choice and saying nothing, are you not simply erecting in the sanctuary of time a monument to every person you've ever been, making every choice to which you've ever given your great gift of mortal and yet timeless thought? Or rather, do all of the choices you've ever made in fact make you more not this kind of person, and in fact do the very opposite? You see, it could in fact be both of these things at once. That you are both making choices and not making choices, and that they are both affecting you and not affecting you at the same time by virtue of the fact that you both are and are not making them. Okay, at first I was leaning towards manifesto, but now I'm going to circle around and slap the treatise label on this one. I think it has much more of a treatise vibe to it. But wouldn't you say that manifesto just has a much grander sort of tone? It has a mouthfeel that is rich with ambition and history. Ambitious history, if you will. See, now you've gotten me going back to manifesto. Heavens, at this rate, we're going to be here all day. Okay, look, I have a method for exactly this sort of situation, and I do find myself in this situation frequently. I'm going to say each word back and forth in repeated succession until I become sick of one or the other, in which case the word I am not sick of shall be the victor. It is an unimpeachable strategy, Stanley. It's rescued me from disaster in countless situations. All right, here we go. Treatise, manifesto. 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 Treatise,
はい。
Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go poof, and it's all over. Oh, I can't wait to see what Cookie 9 will say about this, and whether they'll edit the rating of their Steam review, or at least change some of the wording, perhaps. To be honest, I don't even know if one can change their review in the first place. I guess I should become better educated on exactly how Steam works. Perhaps that would have been the smart thing to check on before I went about this whole exercise of making the skip button. Although I have to imagine that after seeing this exciting new technology at work, surely whoever it is runs Steam will instantly run out and implement a new feature to make it possible to edit one's review, merely because of this very situation. Yes, I think that's quite likely. Or perhaps they'll simply grant this particular user the ability to change their review, so that the feature is not widely abused. Look, I would even be okay with Steam altering this particular review so that it reads as something more beneficial. Something along the lines of, this game is the best game. Let me start over. How about this? From the ashes of depravity rises the phoenix of quality. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes? It's not unendurable by any means, but it's, well, there's really only so much I can ramble on to myself about. I know, it's shocking, isn't it? But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again. I think the skip button has been aptly demonstrated, and we can say goodbye to it and just... Wait, how do we get out of here? Where did the door go? Wasn't there a door that led into this room? I do feel quite certain there was one. How else would we have gotten into the room in the first place? I don't think one can enter a room without a door of some sort, or a window or something like that. Do you see a window anywhere? A porthole? A sufficiently large crack in the wall? I'll take any of these. All I want is for us to move on and to please step away from the skip button, to go anywhere other than the skip button. There was a door here before, wasn't there? I swear there was. Where did it go? Can you maybe just ram your way through a wall? Is there any possibility that you could, say, slam your body into the wall until enough damage is done for you to be able to leave? Please, I'll take any option at all. I'm asking you to work with me here. We need a door. We need a door of some kind. I can work with any kind of door as long as it can open and lead from one room to another. I'm going to step away for just a moment, and I'm going to try to find us a door. I don't know how exactly to remove a door and place it in a different wall, but I will find a way, I promise. You just need to not do anything. Don't press the skip button. Please, please, please do not press the skip button. Just wait here for me, and don't press the skip button. Got it? Yes, good. I'll be right back.
スキップボタンを押さないでねって言ったら押すと思っているんでしょうけど、あえて押さないで待ってみますが、はい。
Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God. Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting here.
あら。
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had...
何も語らなくなってしまった。 なんだなんだ。何の音？めっちゃうるさいんだけど。枯れ果てちゃってまあよ。
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to
戻ってきてくれてちょっと安心しちゃう。
Where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't shut up. It's the inconsistency, it's the lack of accountability. It's the unwillingness to examine with an uncompromising heart the words that they are speaking into the world. As though there were no consequences for a lack of cohesion in one's assessment of others. But of course, absolutely anyone can leave a review. So here's what we get. We get these demands that seek everything and are accountable to nothing.
徐々に徐々に話が長くなっていっている気がしたからスキップボタンを押してしまった。
The end is never the end is never the end is never the end.
壊れた。
Never the end is 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 never the
壊れた。
never the end is 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 never the end is.
なんか変わったか。なんか水の音がするな。なんもないな。おお、壊れてる。壁が壊れてるけど。明るくなった。おお、時間を進めすぎてるんちゃう。俺だんだんなんかあのゲームみたいになってきて、猫のすごいね、押すたんびに変わるね。叫び声。ファズモフォビアとかでしか聞かないような叫び声やけど。お、これも膨らむことないの。砂漠になった。なんもない。すごい世界に来ちゃったな。ちょっと石油を目指そうかな。なんか歩いていったらなんかあったりする？これ昔のドラクエの砂のところみたいになってるけど消えた。 ほんで当たり前のようにここ戻ってくんの？すごい
All
な。
of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
すごいな。
No
あた
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
当たり前のように戻ってきたけど、砂漠から。あ、ニューコンテンツ新しくなってる。ニューコンテンツって書いてあるけど、行ってみるか。
good. You notice my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
新しいやつ？さっきと違う？ショートカットされてる。どれどれ見てあげよう。
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
おお、スタンリーパラボル2。わお。
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
うわあ、すごい低評価のナレーションを受けてたのに2できた。
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an
なるほど。
artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
すごい。ラインナップが全然違う。綺麗になってる。おお。オフィスっていう感じする。あのオフィスよりも近未来的になってる気するけど。わあ、ドアの開け方かっこいい。で、土星自動で閉まるんでしょ、それでも。うちの机はどこですか？うわ、すごい。Mac じゃないっていう。Mac かと思った一瞬。カラスのマーク。ちょっと一瞬角度的に見えなくもないよね。よく見たらカラスだけどみたいな。New content is out. New content PT2. Old New 変わってる2。なんかキャラクターまでできちゃってるけど。More TSP, better TSP, win-win. すごいなぁ。スタンリーパラボル2。すごいなんかいろんなタイトルのやつがあんねんな。もっと見てみたいんだけど。 2になった。2になったら2人になってるけど。スタンリー2。
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
なるほど。The end is never the end again. 427スタンリーの部屋の番号がすごいなんかかっこよくロゴみたいになってるけど This way to the show floor 新しいフロアかすごい発表の記者会見とかの発表のところみたいなこっち行けんのおいけるうわすごい
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
何新機能ジャンプできるようになったとかオフィスデコレーションザ・スタンレーパラブは安心のバケツこのゲームをプレイしている人の名前を言うボタングッズ売り場があるそれ気になるなボタンプレイしている人の名前を言うボタンって何どういうことそれクロニャンって出るだけだよねちょっと怖いねんけどそれ Steam で登録している方の個人情報の方の本名とか
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
ワンダフォーだけど怖いななんか何の名前を言うんだろう怖いなちょっと画面消しとこうかな何の名前が出るのそれって怖い怖いちょっと怖いわなんて出るのああよかったジムという名前しかいい
But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind,
どこに行くの
forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself...
Jim.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name. Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself. All right, fine, whatever. It's a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with
Get
you.
out of here.
Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says. But no. Instead, oh, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Jim. Jim.
あー、撤去されたジムボタン。あー、ボタン没収されてもうた。信じられへん。
Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable too. They would appreciate what I've created here.
安心のバケツってなんだろう。こっちか。あ、ジムちゃんこれちゃうよって。スタンリーだよっていう。あ、こっち行ってみるか。バケツ、安心のバケ
A
ツ。
common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket.
バケツ
You
なん
see,
かない
Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest,
この世界誰もいないはずなのに誰が
than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Give it a try. Not try. 触らないとダメなのか。
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable too.
なんかあんのかなこれ持ってて。全然お恵みなさそうだけど。
Awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
オフィスデコレーション、無限の穴。ジャンプサークル、ジャンプサークルまたあるの。おお、赤ちゃんだったの大人になってるやん。何の恩恵が受けれるんだろうこれ。バケツを持っていることで。行ってみるか先に。お？
know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
ジャンプさせてくんないの？さっきやったから？ひどい。そんなひどいことある？セッティングワールドチャンピオン。That's new。もうちょっとなんか楽しみたいな。フリー実績気になる。フリー実績ってなんだ？なんだこの部屋。なんか行けるところが多すぎて、どこに行ったらいいかがわからなくなる。これ無限の穴かな？多分無限の穴っぽかったからな。あ、ここフリー実績かな。これ閉まんない？閉まんのは嫌なんだけど。わあ、全部がすごそう。どこ行こうかな。出口って書いて。出口出んのもあれやしな。無限の穴行ってみるか。てかバケツいつまで持ってんだろう。
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
すごいやん。あ、深そう。あ、
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward.
ああ、なるほど。
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer,
どんどん遠く
but
な
I
って
do
いく。
recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
なんで？無限なんでしょ？
Okay, Stanley. I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole? To be certain it is. It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is.
無限じゃないってこと？
Infinite? Well, that sort of depends on your definition of infinity. From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a... Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom of the
めっちゃ
hole.
タバコの
You
カス
found
が
out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat, and you're so clever. Look, I think the issue here is just that you're unusually fascinated by falling. What if one person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would actually need. Don't you put this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both...
おい、無限じゃないじゃ
I
ん。
mean, why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you,
No.
then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready.
このままちょっと待ってみたらまたなんか言うてくるかな。タバコのカスめっちゃ落ちてんねんけど。戻ってみるか。はい。
Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my idea. Oh, for heaven. You see, I was right. The problem is you. The problem is that you like holes too much. Not normal. A normal person. That's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the whole scene
短くなった。
this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where...
どんどん近くなってる気する。
Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here?
だってほら、穴があったら入りたいって言うやん。
Here, let's try something. Let's pop back up to the top and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
ね。
Well, there it is.
お、すごいじゃん。
My lie has come to haunt me. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on.
はい。
Is the
あれ聞かなくなっちゃった。
teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It was working, just still nothing. Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this. I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley. You couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have asked for. It's a win for everyone. You get to be with the hole, I get to do literally anything else. Take care, Stanley. I hope you and the hole have a wonderful rest.
あ、どっか行ってもうた。終わったんだけど。お、なんだ。何の音？ん？何？なんで建物が下がってきてる？あ、下がってる。上がるどころか下がってるけど。すごいことが起こってるけど。視点を変えるって何？おお。この角度やばいな。なるほど。 このリズムに合わせて画面切り替えるの面白い。逆再生みたいな音の流れ始めたけど、いっぱいあるんだな。シュールやな。何個あるの？ラジオとかにありそう。一周回ることすらない。なんかアラジンとかでありそう。これなんかさっき聞いた気がするな。あ、一周回ったか。あなた自身を変える。お、変わった。どういう状態？この顔やばい。
Stanley? Stanley? Stanley?
Oh.
Oh, good, you're awake. It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley, because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop
でもまだあれの音流れるで。
to keep you really truly focused on the whole. From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley.
あれは夢だったんや。うん。まさか。これ下がったりする？あ、下がんなかった。あの部屋か。あ、こっからになったんだ。
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
戻ってきたね。 ボタンはやったからな。無限ジャンプリセットされてんのかな。そしていつまでこのバケツを持っているんだろう。あ、無限ジャンプはできないか。できなくなっちゃってる。ほんで、無限のやつほぼ無限のに変わってる。無限の穴がほぼ無限の穴になってる。ほぼ無限の穴ってもう入れないのかな。入れないわ。締め出されてる。穴があったら入りたいなのに。
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
なんだ。Get Well Someday か Happy 12 Birthday ステップこっち。
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get Well Someday it is.
おお、風船がいっぱい。一個引っかかってるけど。
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision. We're moving on.
先に進むのです。実績解除しに行きたいんだけど、チャンピオンなんとかっていうのも気になるから行ってみようか。これあれ入れない。あれはThat's new.
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Later. もう一通り回ったってことでいいのかな。あと実績と出口かな。あとキラキラゾーンもまだ行ってないけど実績欲しいな。
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes, you see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
めっちゃシンプルで分かりやすいけど、何のレバーなのこれ。いきます。はい。
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
ダメなのか。壊れているらしい。ダメじゃん。実際解除できると思ったのにな。
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
まだ見てない展示あるよね。これ。
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward.
本当のビデオゲームです。
I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
歩けるの？歩けるわ。これホラーゲームじゃないよね。撮っていい？これみんなもらっちゃうよ。なんだそりゃ。どういうこと？
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
なるほど。もう一通り回ったから出口に行ってもいいかな。十分いろいろと見て回って楽しんだから、じゃあここの部屋行くか。ボタン復活してないかな。ないわ。女のもう出口しかないか。出口どこだ？これか。帰ろうか。一箇所だけ。
Have you seen everything you wanted to? Ready to move on now?
一箇所だけ行けてないところがあるけど、入れなかったからね。お、なんだこれ。
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
おお。
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2. Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video
さあ
game
ジャンプ
at all.
サークルの中に無限の穴を
And I
作る
do
な
very
よな。
much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to
そ
anything.
れはもうジャンプできない。
I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original.
そやな。
Maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
そこを変えちゃうんだな。スタンリーパラボル2。はい、というわけで、今回から新しく始めていきたいと思います。スタンリーパラボル2ですね。どういうことなの？スタンリーパラボル2になったけど。これ戻ったら怒られるのかな。
This is the story of a man named.
はい。お、風船が飛んでる。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
ちょっとずつ変わっていって
No
るの
matter
にす
how
ごい。
hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
あ、バケツだ。
Stanley picked up the bucket.
バケツを拾いました。このバケツを手にすることによって何かが変わるのかっていう。
Stanley clicked on literally every single door in the office because he doesn't pick up well on cues from his
あ、
environment.
ニューコンテンツの部屋じゃなくなってる。
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be.
ちょっと変えてきた。
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
バケツがあることによってちょっとストーリーが変わった。
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure. Stanley reflected on all they'd been through together. First, walking through the door on the right. Then walking to the lounge. Then arriving at the lounge. What a thrilling journey the bucket had inspired.
そうね。バケツとの冒険はそんな感じだもんね。
Perhaps this was where the bucket felt most truly at home. Here in the employee lounge. Perhaps it's the only place a bucket can even feel at home.
そうなん、じゃあここにバケツ置いていってあげないとかわいそうやな。捨てるボタンはないのかい？
Stanley decided to just give the bucket absolutely as much time as it needed to be in the lounge. Clearly, the bucket and the employee lounge shared a special connection.
うん。くつろいでるラウンジで。何も言わなくなってしまった。
But finally, the bucket was done being in the lounge, and they took the first open door on their left to get back to business.
バケツとの冒険始める。
No, said the bucket. Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him.
でもここで降りるんです
did
よね。
whatever the bucket asked.
残念ながら裏切るんですよね。バケツもアナウンスも。
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket?
あ、そういう意味のバケツだったのこ
I
れ。
suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
開かないか。開かないな。こっち行けって。お、バケツの映画。
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should
バケツか
tell
ど
us
うかを
everything
答える
we'll
の。
ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin. Item 1. Is this a bucket?
No.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
全部一緒やけどな。このバケツ一緒にあそこを通りたいから。
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket. Item 4. Is this a bucket? Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw that? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move
Incredible.
on to the next one. Is this a bucket? Correct. This is a bucket.
そうでしょ。だからそれは持ち込んだらいけないけど、このバケツは持ち込んでもいいっていう。
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha. Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true. Unless, is that what you think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself. Myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
No.
Here we go.
No. Oh my god.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my god, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
OK 戻ってきたね。バケツは
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed.
Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him.
すごい速さでバケツを持って駆け抜けていく。
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly was. How insightful the bucket turned out to be.
ちょっと変わるかな。
Truly, being here with the bucket was a grand adventure.
ここは変わらない
Stanley
んだね。
reflected on all they know. Never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I
ま
need
た
you
戻
to
って
do.
もバケツ
Stanley
の
did not
クイズ
question
始まっちゃ
why
いそうや
or
から
how this
な。
bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the
あー
bucket
悩む
asked.
な。いいか行ってみるかこっち。
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
「従うのはなんか嫌なんだよな。
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket. Whoa, hold on. Why did you unplug the phone? Were you trying to resist the bucket's orders? Stanley, I was joking. Obviously, the bucket isn't talking to you and telling you to do things. Buckets can't talk. It was a joke.
Don't you get the joke? It's funny, Stanley. A talking bucket.
Can't you see? Oh, goodness. I must have really bungled up the delivery if you actually took me seriously. Where did I mess up the joke? Should I have paused for longer or spoken quicker? Comedic timing is so difficult. I wish I were better at it. But there isn't exactly an instructional video on comedy that one can watch to fully... Oh, wait, yes, there is. It's sitting right here. Let's take a look.
What is comedic timing? What is comedic timing? How does it work? How long should it last? How can it be used to effectively silence your political enemies? And more importantly, can it be taught in its entirety within 90 seconds? Thankfully, the answer to all of these questions is yes. Let's dive deeper. If you've ever told a joke or made someone laugh, In all likelihood, you did it while standing 50 to 80 centimeters from them in a room of no more than 76 degrees Fahrenheit, with one of your arms raised straight upward at a 15-degree angle from your body. These are the optimal conditions for good comedic timing. To begin the joke, start by stating and spelling your name. Next, provide a brief synopsis of the joke, including the specific times at which the recipient of the joke will laugh, and then spell out your name a second time. With these steps complete, it's time to begin the humor. Speak the entire joke in no more than 18 seconds and no less than 13 and a half, pausing only for bathroom breaks when necessary. When the joke has concluded, it is customary to inform your listener that the joke is over by declaring in your loudest possible voice, "I'm Dunny with the funny." Let's practice screaming, "I'm Dunny with the funny" now. Good. This saying is a perfect example of expectations management, which is the cornerstone of good comedy. Finally, it's time to hand out surveys. Collecting hard data from your audience on how rapt they were throughout the joke is the only way to grow or learn as a comedian.
今のジョークはそんなに面白くなかったけど。
And should include the same question reprinted several times, just to ensure the survey taker is actually paying attention and not simply filling in answers at random. And that's all there is. With these strategies at your disposal, you'll have audiences doubled over in laughter and even tripled in no time at all. Just remember to let them stop laughing at some point, you gut-busting little scamp. After all, we're each of us needed on the front lines of the war to fight the 12-legged invader who threaten our very existence and a very likely die in a hailstorm of bullets and mandibles. All of us must be prepared to give our lives to this noble cause, just as our children must do after us, and their children after them. Godspeed, and may Earth reign supreme.
Hey, goodness, this video is a little outdated. Well, no matter. I think the fundamentals of proper comedic timing are still as relevant today as they were back then. So with that in mind, I believe the only way forward is for us to return to the two doors and walk through all of this again, so I can try telling my story with more appropriate comedic delivery. Come along, let's head back.
こっちか2つの部屋ガード付きに変わってる
I can feel it. This time, I'm really going to nail the delivery. You'll be in stitches. A talking bucket, you'll say? How ridiculous. How absurd. What a hilarious concept. The king of comedy. That's what you'll call me. Thank
King
you.
of comedy.
Otherwise, who knows where we'd be right now? Well, I wouldn't be the king of comedy, that's for sure. The bucket spoke to Stanley.
The bucket spoke.
The bucket spoke. Oh, I'll figure it out on the fly. No need to overthink things.
決められたけどあ、2つの部屋に戻んないといけないのか。
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of two open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone already? No, what's going on? There was supposed to be several rooms leading up to this. There was supposed to be a build-up to this point, a dramatic display of remarkable comedic wit which culminates in this scene with the phone. But now the timing's completely off. The joke will never land. Well, not the way it was meant to. And it's all my fault. I must have forgotten that the phone room comes immediately after the two doors room. What an egregious mistake.
つなげてもう一回やり始めたら
I don't deserve the title of King of Comedy. I'm nothing. I'm not even the lowliest joke telling. Well, I think
そこまで言うてないんだけど
I
な。
think I need to go back and
ああ、それはいいな。いらないな。
yes, surely that will help me improve my. Here we go. You ready? When
Okay.
Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. What? We're back at the phone.
これは繰り返してしまうのかな。
No, no,
お、
Here we go. You ready? When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left.
もう当たり前のように右に入る。
What? We're back at the phone already? No, no, no.
もうこれ繰り返してしまいそうやから左
You
行く
ready?
か。
When Stanley and the bucket came to a set of 2 open doors, they entered the door on the left. No, 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 no. You were supposed to go through the door on the right, leading back to the phone. Did you not even look at the instructional video? I think this is all covered very clearly. There's no
3
way
回
I
目
can
で
make the
落と
comedic
すんでしょ。
timing work now. It's done. The joke is completely done and over. It's all your fault, Stanley. I'm going to be ridiculed in the community of other joke writers. I'm going to be shamed. Everyone
お笑いは
from
3
now
回目
on.
に
All because you couldn't watch a simple video and
オチ
take
を
a
作る
hint.
け
Are
れ
you
ど
proud of yourself for bringing me down, Stanley? Are you proud?
Stanley, you love the bucket so much it's like you. It's as though all of your other most prized possessions pale
キ
in
エンド
comparison.
パート2のパターンですね。
Well, let me try that again, Stanley. I heard that you are pale with shame over how unabashedly in love with a bucket you are.
Pale.
Still not. Is it the delivery? Pale with shame. Pale with shame. Pale. What's another word to describe a bucket? Stanley, this bucket is so mental. I think I saw it playing guitar. No. We're getting away from making fun of Stanley's obsession with the bucket, which was the whole point of this. I'm no good at these jokes. I need more instructional videos. That's exactly what it is. That's what will make me the king of comedy again. More instructional videos. Let's see.
はい。てなわけで多分またオフィスに戻ってきましたと。では今回はここまでに、したいと思います。この続編は一時停止中です。タイトルも変わってたけどこれに変わっているんやね。よいしょ。はい。そんなわけで、今回はここまでにしたいと思います。配信はあれなんですけど、動画で見てくださった方は最後まで見てくださりありがとうございました。お疲れ様です。